This is gonna be a real bitch to edit when I'm done. Hey everyone. So today's video is not going to be like normal. So if you are here for a happy video and just to feel better, I would suggest leaving now before I ruin your day with my stories or make you sad or upset or whatever. So I'll see you next time. But if you are here still and you want to know about my experience, then I guess just bear with me, because this is something that I've never, ever physically talked about, ever. So I'm not really sure how that's going to work out. But I will be speaking this low because I don't feel like yelling at the camera like I normally do. Well, actually, I don't really think I yell, but I don't feel like talking loud. And I don't feel like having lights or anything in my face, so I'm going to be pretty chilled out and concentrate on what I'm saying and just to keep my cool. So, yeah. I was in the 7th grade, so I was 12, and we just got to school. It was early in the morning, and I was with my friend, and we were talking, and I'm walking to my locker because I needed to get my books before class started. We had some time in the beginning, just to, hang out and stuff before the bell rang, and he would have to go to class. So, we were just hanging out at my locker, and another one of my friends came by. She was one of the more popular girls, because she was, I guess, more developed than the rest. But we were talking, and out of nowhere, a boy ran up to her and he slapped her on her butt, like really, 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 really hard. And she screamed in pain because it was, if you heard how hard he hit her, like, it wasn't even funny. And he ran. So automatically she just chased after him because she wanted to hit him back. And I turned to my friend, I'm like, I feel really bad for her because they keep, harassing her all the time. And I look over, and then I see another boy hitting another girl, and another one hitting another one, or grabbing her, or touching her, or whatever. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, I don't understand, like, what's going on today? Like, is this something, they ate or what? I have no idea. But I guess another bus came because more people came into the school, and I saw another one of my other friends. And she came up to me and she was like, watch your back today. And I'm like, why? Do you know what's going on? Like, why they're all doing this? And she was just like, someone told her that today was National Touch Day, where the boys can touch the girls, and, they can't get hit back, or, no, pretty much no one can do anything about it. It's like, a freebie. And I was just like, BS, there's no such thing as a National Touch Day or whatever. But it didn't matter because they were doing it. And she was saying that, someone explained to her that today was the day where the boys can touch the girls, and then the next day was where the girls can touch the boys, and, that's that. So, I went back to my locker, and I grabbed my books, and I tied my jacket around my waist, so I don't know how that would stop someone from touching me, but I basically was on alert mode for the entire day. Walking around with books, covering myself so no one would touch me. It worked for a while, and then, someone grabbed me. By the time lunch came, the principal caught on, and she was like really mad, which she should be. And she was basically like, if I see anyone doing any of that kind of stuff, you'll either be suspended automatically or fell or something. I don't remember exactly which one, but one of those. So they stopped and we were safe. And I can like finally relax. The next day came, of course, and they were saying, it's the girl's turn. No one did anything because no one wanted to, like no one cared. And, it became like another normal day. Next day comes, and pretty much the same thing. Sorry, my phone. Pretty much the same thing. Like a normal school day. The day was over, and I, got my things, got on the bus, and we were leaving to go home. Pretty much the bus that I take is the one where like everybody takes because like everyone lives in the same kind of area. So it was basically like a party, and our bus driver hates us because like no one ever listens and we're always loud and stuff and playing around and basically having a party. So I was sitting next to my friend and we were talking for a while, and then she wanted to go to talk to another friend, so she left me and I was sitting by myself, and two boys came up to me. We're all the same grade, same age, everyone knew each other. So they came up to me and they were they were talking. And one of them said, you know what today is? And I was like, what are you talking about? The day is already over anyways. So, like, what? And then you were like, today is National Rape Day. And automatically, I'm just like, no, it's not. I didn't even register what he said, but I already knew, like, whatever you're saying, I don't even know what you're saying, but whatever it is, you're lying because the day is already over and I didn't hear anything about anything. And they were like, yeah, it is. You know how someone says something like really, really stupid or just like, what? It takes like a minute for it to process. That's what happened. So I stopped and I was just like, wait, what? And they're like, today's National Rape Day. And then I stopped and I thought about it. And I mean, at that time, I didn't really know what it was, like what rape was or any of that stuff really. I just knew it was really bad and there was no way that even if it was a joke or not, like that would be okay. So I was like, no, it's not. And they were like, yeah, it is. So we were about to start arguing. And before I can open my mouth to, say anything, one of them pushed me. And I fell in between the seats. And if you've ever ridden a school bus, you'd know that there's like no space in between them. And of course, I ended up, bringing home every single book ever made and stuffed in my book bag, and I had my book bag on my back, so when I fell, it got stuck, and, I couldn't really get up. I was also wearing a skirt, a really long one, so I couldn't really move my legs to stand up properly without, the whole way being clear. So when I fell, both of them basically got on top of me. And another one who was sitting in the back, he jumped over and he sat on the chair above me. And I was trying to get up, but I couldn't because my book bag was stuck and I was wearing it, so I couldn't get up. And one of them was pushing to keep me on the ground, and the other two were over me, and I don't even want to give detail, so I'm gonna skip the details. I was screaming at them to, get off of me and let me up, and I was like kicking and screaming, and I'm like, get off me, and no one was listening. don't even know how to go about this. The whole time I was on the ground, I was confused because I'm yelling and I don't hear anything going on. I don't hear anyone saying stop. I don't hear anyone saying anything. So I figured, okay, well, maybe no one can hear me. It's loud on the bus, so, no one can hear me. So I screamed even louder, and I still never heard anything. And it didn't matter what I was saying, nothing was happening. They were still touching me, and I was still on the ground, and I heard nothing. After a while, I started second guessing reality, and I was lost for a second, I guess, because I was thinking, okay, it just felt like I was in the Twilight Zone, because it felt like the louder I screamed, the more no one heard me, and then I just wondered if it was even real at all in the first place. So, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try one more time, and I was getting really, 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 really frustrated because I wanted them to just stop, and they wouldn't. So I took a deep breath and I screamed as loud as I possibly could, and I felt like my face was gonna pop. So it was just, I used everything I had, and I wanted them to get off of me, so I yelled at them to get off of me. And, my eyes started tearing because I was like screaming so loud and I wasn't breathing or anything because I was yelling, and my eyes just started tearing. And one of them, who were over me and holding me down, who were like, look, she's crying. And that pissed me off like instantly because I wasn't crying. I'm not crying for you. My eyes were tearing because I was screaming, and I'm not sad or anything. I'm frustrated. So that pissed me off even more. And then it was still nothing. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? Then after maybe 2 more minutes, I hear the bus driver, and he tells, the boys who were on the ground to get back in their seats because we were slowing down and coming up to another stop. And so they get off of me and they go sit down, and the boy who was over me, he goes back to where he came from. And so I was left on the ground. And part of me wanted to stay there because I didn't want to get up at all. I just wanted to stay under there until I was home. But I knew if I stayed on the ground any longer than I was, then I would only just make matters worse. So that was like one of the moments where you just had to keep your chin up and get up. So that's what I did. I wiped my face and I took a deep breath, and then I stood up so I can, pull my clothes back down. When I got up, I looked up, and literally every single person on that bus was staring at me. Like, every single one. And automatically I felt like a freak because, like, everyone was staring at me like I was dead or something. And so I was like, I need to hurry up and, fix myself and sit back down because I couldn't do it while sitting in the chair. So in my head, I'm like, oh my God, hurry up. And I got myself together and I was moving to sit down. And right before I sat down, I stopped. And I looked back up and everyone was still staring at me. And I was like, wait a minute. And I looked at every single one of those people. And I was like, so you did hear me, because you wouldn't be looking at me like that if you didn't hear me otherwise. And I'm like, okay. And I sat down and I just let it marinate. The longer I sat there and the more I thought about it, the more angry I got. Because what that meant was people heard me. You know, you heard what I was saying. You saw what they were doing. And no one said anything. No one did anything. No one, it was like I was the only one on the bus. I closed my eyes and all I saw was everyone staring at me. And I realized if the person in the very, very, very front row was looking at me and they heard me, then there was no way in any hell that the bus driver didn't hear me. Because when I tell you I was screaming to the top of my lungs, I was screaming to the top of my lungs. So I know he heard. And I was just thinking, I'm like, well, I mean, I know you don't like us, but damn, like, really? Like, if you hear someone screaming, get off of me in the back of the bus, you don't do anything, you don't say anything. Like, I was livid. Like, I don't know. But after that, no one sat next to me. Like, the girl who was, I was sitting with in the first place, she didn't come near me. Like, no one came near me, so I was sitting by myself. And I just wanted to go home, so I waited for the bus to get me home. And unfortunately for me, we all had the same bus stop, so I had to sit on the bus with everyone, and I had to sit on the bus with the people who did it, and I had to wait until, I got off the bus and got home. So I sat and I waited for everyone to leave the bus so I can leave, because I didn't want to talk to anyone, I didn't want to be bothered by anyone or anything like that. So when I get off the bus, pretty much every single girl who was sitting on the bus was standing outside the door waiting for me. And I get out there. And then they surround me and they're like, oh my God, what happened? Like, being all concerned and stuff. When they said that, I held my tongue, because I'm like, you're really gonna ask me what happened when I know damn well you were watching and you were right there, because I saw you looking at me when I got up? You're really gonna ask me what happened? So I was just like, you don't deserve an explanation. I don't know what you want me to tell you that you don't know. Like, I mean, what do you want, details or something? So I was just like, nothing. Please excuse my language, but these hoes had the nerve to get mad at me because I didn't want to talk about it. And they were like, they got in my face and they were like, don't tell me nothing happened. I know something happened. You need to talk about it and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, first of all, I don't even know what the hell just happened, because it was so fast that I didn't know what was going on. Second, you were watching. So, I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you. third, like, I'm gonna say this. If someone was assaulted, harassed, or whatever, not even 5 minutes ago, they don't want to talk about that at all. So give them space is my advice for you. They didn't give me space. And it honestly took the power of every single God ever created and ever thought of to refrain me from punching every single one of them in the face. Like, I just slapped everybody. So after that, I just saw red, and I just, pushed them out of my way, and I went home, and I can't tell you what I did after that because I don't remember. And I still have no idea what happened, like, afterwards. But, yeah, I learned a valuable lesson that day, and I vowed that if I ever saw anyone in that situation, and they needed help, I would help them, because I knew what it felt like to not have that help. And a year later, that time finally came, and I got my chance to help someone, and I went to help them. Let's just say, if I were to ever see someone in that situation again now, I wouldn't know what to do, because when I helped, I got screwed over big time. So now I can say I've been the person who's been in a situation like that, who's needed help and not gotten it. And I've been the person to help and get screwed over. So if I saw it today, I couldn't tell you what I do, because I don't know. And I don't think I'll ever know. So yeah. And that situation was one of the hardest, actually, it was the hardest thing I've ever been through and had to go through. And I'm not going to talk about that one, because that one was way too intense. But I learned a lot more valuable lessons that maybe I'll make a video and I'll talk about it if you want to hear about it and you want to know. But yeah, I'm not going to do that now. I'm sorry if I ruined anyone's day or killed the mood, but that's my story, and I hope it helps anyone to know, I guess. If you are going through something similar or something completely different, I'm pretty sure I've been through it. I'm pretty sure I can help or give advice or something, but I'm here if you want to talk about it. I guess I will see you guys very soon, but I don't think this was too bad. It was really hard in the beginning, but I don't think it was too bad, so I guess it helps to talk, and hopefully this encouraged you to talk as well. So I guess have a wonderful night, morning, evening, or afternoon, and I'll see you guys soon. Love you.